All right, so this week we have the 2020. Why did I just like forget what
talk.
year
You
it
make fun of
was?
me
I
not being able to
know.
talk.
Okay, so this year we have the 2024.
This year?
Oh, I started thinking about how I messed
I
the
know.
year up. Take 3. This week we have the 2024 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. This is the regular hybrid, not the plug-in hybrid, and this one is fully loaded. So it's not a PHEV, right? It's not a PHEV, and you love a PHEV, but this is just a HEV. It's a hybrid electric vehicle, but it is fully loaded, and it costs almost $41,000. So stay tuned for our opinions about the Hyundai Tucson, and if you're a regular viewer of the channel, we'll also tell you why this video might be filmed a little bit differently. Okay, so starting with my least favorite part of this overall pretty great little SUV, it's not so little anymore, I guess midsize SUV, is the styling. I have never liked the way the
exterior
Hyundai,
styling.
Yes, the exterior styling. I've never liked the way that the Hyundai Tucson looks. I actually really don't like the way the Hyundai Tucson looks. Hyundai went through this sort of phase of their design language not that long ago, where the Santa Fe and the Tucson and not the Kona sort of survived, but like the Santa Fe and the Tucson got like really ugly. I really just do not like the way the front end of the Tucson looks, how they have the lights packaged with that super garish looking grille, and they put lines all over everything, like on the wheels and on the back, D-pillar back there. Like it just was all way too much. Everything about the way this thing looks is way too much. And it's a bit of a shame because when you look at the overall goodness of the Hyundai Tucson, it's a pretty great, like small to mid-size SUV. This is RAV4 class, this is Hyundai CR-V class. And where the current CR-V has gotten maybe a little bit boring, and the RAV4, I'd say the RAV4 is pretty darn good looking, and the Forester is kind of like somewhere in the middle. The Tucson, from an exterior styling point, not the best looking vehicle, okay? Now, you might be noticing, wait a second, I've been watching this channel for a while, maybe for years. Hello, we appreciate you. Where's all the tasty B-roll? Well, the tasty B-roll is on the cutting room. That's just something. Peter McKinnon used to say that. Oh, okay. So the tasty B-roll is not here because I got a new job and helping start a new YouTube channel in the automotive space, okay? And I'll put a link to that channel down below, but it's a garage channel focused mainly on high-end sports cars. Porsche's kind of like the #1. And so I'm helping a friend of mine get that channel off the ground, and it's taking up a lot of my time. So we want to continue to bring you our normal family real-world reviews, but they're just gonna have to be kind of a little bit quicker and more streamlined. So
which probably nobody minds.
I'm sure some people don't. They're probably like, you got way too overindulgent with the B-roll. If you like the B-roll, stick around. It's not going to be that much different. If you didn't like the B-roll, well, welcome to the New World Order. I'm sure you appreciate it even
Star
more
Wars
now.
Reference?
Well, sort of. Like that's, that's the First Order. I think you're thinking of.
Oh, okay.
We do social media professionally. We also are parents of teenagers, so we take our online security very seriously.
And today's video is sponsored by Aura, and it's a really important time to be talking about identity theft because hackers might have stolen the social security information of every American.
Wait, what? Is that true?
Sadly, yes. Over 2.9 billion records, that's billion with a B, were stolen from national public data, which offers personal information to employers, private investigators, staffing agencies, and other groups who do background checks. These stolen records include a person's full name, address, date of birth, social security number, and phone number, along with any alternate names they go by.
And members of hacker groups have reportedly released this information for free online.
That's like if your kids made a lemonade stand on the side of the road, but the price was just free, and everybody would just take it.
Well, worse than that, sweetie.
Yeah, you're probably right.
If you weren't taking precautions with your personal information online before, this should be a huge wake-up call. In a connected online world, you've never been more vulnerable than you are right now.
But we're not too worried about it because we use Aura, and Aura will alert us if it finds our phone number, our email, or our social security numbers out there on the dark web.
We really need to invent a better word than the dark web, but just trust us, it's bad. It's really bad.
They're going to let us know quickly if anyone tries to use this information to access our credit or bank accounts. They give us up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. They also provide a bunch of other features to keep you safe online, all inside one app.
You can go to aura.com/JaxAuto, that's JAXAUTO, and sign up for 14 days for free, which is enough time for Aura to check the web for any of your personal information. We recommend that you do this now because it's unlikely that national public data is going to do anything about the leak, and they're probably not going to face any repercussions for their actions.
Not being held responsible for their mistakes? You don't say. Yet another reason to take online security more seriously.
So we're not going to leave ourselves vulnerable to data breaches like this, like the national public data one. And if you don't want to either, you can go to aura.com/JaxAuto. Remember, JAXAUTO, it's on the screen, and sign up for 2 weeks for free and let Aura check your personal information. Now, let's get back to the review.
The exterior is probably my least favorite thing about this car.
Agree.
I just don't think it looks great.
No.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look
It's like 20%
good.
too much of everything.
Yeah. So like today, I think it's very forgettable too.
Ouch.
I don't like, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's a great looking car. Like today we went to the mall, and on the way back when I was trying to find the car, I said to Hallie, because she was with me, I was like, I honestly forgot what the car looks like. Like I was nervous when I was looking.
You
'cause I-
forgot that front end?
Yeah, it's ugly. Like
Yeah.
it's not memorable.
We actually
So,
did totally agree on this.
I wouldn't say ugly. I think it's just, I don't feel one way or the other about it. I'm
Okay,
very like,
You're
eh.
fair.
Yeah.
It's like
I
my
just-
least favorite thing.
Yeah, it's not cute. It wouldn't stop me from getting the car, but it's also not going to make me want to get the car.
Based on the Santa Fe and the upcoming Palisade spy shots,
Then-
they're going boxy everything.
Oh, I love that.
So I would not be surprised if this
I
was
love that.
also not much boxier.
But like also if I was getting this car, like for my teenager, because it would be a nice safe car to drive. I don't care what the outside looks like. And if you're someone who, like some people just don't care about, like my mom, she doesn't care about what the outside of a car looks like.
No, just the inside.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I just don't like
You
it.
gonna take us on a tour
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
side and back here?
Yeah, here's the side. It's
Yeah.
just a side. Like, I don't think it's ugly.
No.
There's literally, and I don't love the navy color.
No,
Navy
it is
makes
a
it look-
weird choice for.
I feel like it makes it look dated or something.
Yeah, there's
And
a
then
weird.
the back, like, it's just not cute. It's kind of ugly. Well, let's see what the cargo space looks like. You want to?
Do you have the key?
Oh, great. Here's live. It's in the car.
Oh, okay. I think this
figured it
has the
out in a
feature
hot
where you
minute.
stand behind it, it will open as well.
Oh, if I had the key in my pocket.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a lot of space.
It is. It's very. It's a huge amount. Of space.
Yeah, like that's more than, and it kind of dips down. Like
well,
it goes.
I think
whoop.
the floor. See the side thing? You can put it up and have an underfloor.
Oh.
It's,
Yeah.
it's almost 40 cubic
Yeah,
feet.
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
This thing.
Yeah, I think you can raise that up on.
Hey,
the,
there's a
on the
tire
side
mobility
part.
kit. Kind of fun. But yeah, that's a lot of space.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more than the. Is that more than Ella's RAV4?
Yep, more than the RAV4.
Yeah, that's
like
huge.
CRV level. It's about the biggest in the class.
Yeah, that's impressive. So see, this is another thing. Like the outside, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So the part that's like the part that you would actually live with and need, it I think is great.
Well, you know what's really impressive is that it's a hybrid. So it has that much space and there's a battery.
Impressive.
I'm surprised you haven't said
Useful.
lovely. It's not.
Well, there's nothing lovely about it.
it's lovely how much.
I don't
space
think
it
the
has.
outside is. I don't think the exterior is lovely.
No, I meant space.
That's
No,
impressive.
the outside is definitely not lovely.
The amount of space is impressive.
Yeah,
You don't call an amount of space lovely.
it's stupendous.
You're stupendous.
All right, since this is the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid model, that means we've got a small 1.6 liter 4-cylinder under the hood with a hybrid motor. Now, the total output of this powertrain is 226 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, the good thing about that, because you have that electric motor assisting, is that this thing doesn't really feel all that slow. In fact, it's pretty satisfying to drive, which we'll talk about in a second. So the powertrain itself is pretty good overall. Now, one area that the Hyundai Tucson differs a little bit compared to the Toyota RAV4 is the choice of transmission. So this has H-Track all-wheel drive, but the transmission going from the powertrain to the wheels is a 6-speed automatic. So it's a conventional 6-speed automatic, whereas the RAV4 hybrid, and a lot of Toyota's hybrids and some of Honda's as well, use a CVT automatic. Now, I will say, and this is coming from the enthusiast side of the channel, now you really enjoyed the way this drives. I enjoy the way it drives too. I do think in certain low speed situations, you do notice that the 6-speed automatic is getting a little maybe not confused, but just sometimes it's just not sure what gear to be in. And you notice it. It's never intrusive and it's never unpleasant. You just notice it. Whereas
I don't ever notice that.
Yeah, and
So maybe
like
you
I
have to
said,
be a
it's
car guy.
more of an enthusiast kind of thing. And this is where a CVT paired with a hybrid system maybe is kind of the better choice, because it's always ultra smooth and it's always like shuttling that power from the complicated powertrain around a little bit more efficiently. Now, from a gas mileage standpoint, here's the thing. This is impressive. Toyota is sort of the high watermark when it comes to hybrids. Honda's new lineup is pretty great as well. And Hyundai is really kind of up there with them now, okay? This thing is rated at like, I think it's like 38 city highway, which is a normal kind of thing to have around the same city highway with a hybrid, because they're so much more efficient in day-to-day city kind of stop and go traffic. However, my new commute to the job that I just referenced is frankly awful. So you know I must really like this opportunity if I'm putting up with this terrible commute. It is in nonstop stop and go traffic. I got this thing up to 41 miles to the gallon after about 2 or 3 days of this back and forth commute. So not only is it a pretty comfy and, you know, like nice place to spend time when you're stuck in traffic, but you're also getting incredible gas mileage for what this thing is, especially with the cargo space we mentioned earlier. So if you're interested in getting a lot of hybrid for the money, keep in mind this thing is $41,000. It's basically fully loaded, and you can get the PHEV version of the Tucson, I think in the mid 40s, but with the tax credit, I think the tax credit actually brings it down to around 40. So the fact that you have your choice of a fully loaded PHEV or a hybrid or a regular gas powered one if you're so inclined, it's a lot of vehicle for the money, despite the exterior styling. Yeah, everyone wants to see you wipe your nose.
I wasn't wiping my nose, it's itching, and this will be in the bloopers are cut on. So we are driving the 2024 Hyundai Tucson. Tucson.
Hybrid.
Wow. It's very smooth. It's a very smooth ride. That's actually why I was wondering if it was a hybrid. Driving wise, I really like this car. I drove it today in like a good bit of traffic to the mall and kind of an annoying drive. And it is a very comfortable car to drive. The gas and the brake are perfect for me. It does what I want it to do. It brakes perfectly, smoothly. Exactly. It's very perfect.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I love the steering wheel, which I know is interior, but it's also part of the drive, so I'm saying it.
More to come.
And the seat's very comfortable.
Yeah.
I find it very comfortable. And I love the way the interior looks. Like, I feel like it's a great driving experience.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm in a nice, high quality vehicle.
Well, that's what Hyundai does well.
Yes.
They make it look more expensive than it is.
And everything, it's got the buttons, the gear shifting, but the buttons, which I love the buttons. Like, that's fine. Either that or like a normal gear shift is what I want. The parking assist camera or whatever was easy to find. Everything is very user-friendly. The screen is lovely. I mean, everything is very user-friendly when you get it in drive. It does exactly what you want it to do, the way you would like it to happen. So I have zero complaints about the driving. Okay. Very smooth, very comfortable, very nice drive.
So this is up high on your hybrid assessment?
Well, I love a hybrid. I love good gas mileage, and I appreciate what it does for the environment. But I get nervous with a full electric that I'm going to get stuck somewhere and not have charge. So
well,
I feel like
clarity,
this is...
You like EVs, you just don't want to deal with the
They make me nervous.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I love an EV, but it makes me nervous. And I also just don't love that you can't go anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
That bothers me. And I want to be able to go wherever I want to go. What if something happens and I need to drive to California or something?
Wow, okay. Well, that escalated.
And I couldn't do it in an EV.
Very quickly.
I mean, I don't want to be held back.
Held back by an EV.
Yeah. So I do love the hybrid option. I know that makes it more expensive, but, right?
Well, it does, but, you know, this is a pretty good one.
Yeah. I love this car. I want something that is user-friendly. I don't need to be, like, having to look through a user's manual to figure out how to, you know, put my car in reverse or whatever.
Well, that'd be sad.
But, you know.
But it has happened.
Do you know what I mean?
Now, whoa, you're watching the road there. That was like a 90 mile per hour curve.
I'm literally going 43. It's got the little speed limit thing here. Doesn't have a heads-up display, which I like, but it's not
many
necessary.
in this class do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like CRV RAV4 class, so.
Yeah. I mean, this is very nice. I like it.
Okay, well, there's
I
a
like
new
it.
one on the horizon, so we'll have to wait and see.
What's that?
A new version of the Tucson should be out within a year.
Oh, what's wrong with this
Or
one?
maybe 2. This one's been out for a bit.
Oh, okay. So would you want to buy this, or would you want to wait for the new one? Or you could get a good deal on this one, maybe.
It depends. The market's so weird right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I really like this, and I really, really, really love the way it brakes and gasses.
Oh, and gases.
Accelerates.
Yeah, we gotta stop.
I just love the feel of the gas pedal. I think that's what I'm thinking when I say gas.
Yeah.
I love the way the brake pedal and the gas pedal feel
You like
under
the
my foot.
resistance, the
Yeah.
calibration.
Yes, it's like exactly what I want it to be. Yeah.
Which that is good in a hybrid.
Yeah.
Because braking in a hybrid sometimes.
Yeah,
can
and
be
I
a little
don't
weird.
notice. That's why literally I was like, is this a hybrid? Is it not a hybrid? I can't tell because I feel like hybrids are normally more jerky or whatever because they've got that regen thing that
Especially
I
because
don't
it's in
like.
eco mode right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so in eco mode, I do not notice any negative on the braking.
Yeah.
So, good job, Hyundai.
So I've spent a lot of time behind the wheel of this Hyundai Tucson Hybrid.
Yeah, all week.
Yeah, because
Commuting.
because I commute really far now for the new job, and so having this hybrid, it just made sense for me to use it because you didn't have to drive as
It's a
much as
hybrid.
me. Driving in stop and go traffic, your sort of day-to-day family kind of duties and stuff like that. I mean, this thing is totally fine. The ride is pretty comfortable. Now, is it as, this is again the enthusiast side of the family, is it as dialed in as something like a Mazda CX-5? No. I mean, that's like the best ride handling in the class. Is it as comfy as the Subaru Forester? No, it's close. So what Hyundai does so well is that they really try to target their vehicles at the, I guess I would say, the best in class of different categories, and then see how close they can get to those things or improve upon them in some ways, especially obviously from a value standpoint. That's kind of the big thing. So I don't think they're targeting something like the CX-5. I think they're targeting something more like the CR-V and the RAV4. Now, personally, and when it comes to behind the wheel kind of driving characteristics, I like the way that this drives better than the RAV4. Not as much as the CR-V, but I do like the way this drives better than our RAV4 that we have and other higher trim level RAV4s that I've driven. It's also a nicer place to be when you're behind the wheel. So they've got that like kind of ride handling balance in that sweet spot that most people are going to appreciate. Now, since I am sort of the enthusiast perspective, what do I think about the way this thing goes about being a hybrid? Hyundai does some interesting stuff with their hybrid system. It goes into EV mode when you are coming to a stop, and that's pretty par for the course with most hybrids. But one thing I've said in the past, and I think this is true here, whereas Toyota tends to kind of their hybrid system, and I don't know if they use a more powerful motor or what it is, but it seems to stay engaged a little bit longer as you pull away from a stop, whereas Hyundai doesn't seem to do that, but it seems to switch over to EV mode more in regular driving when you're at low speeds. Because I was commuting back and forth in stop and go traffic, this actually really paid off, and that's how I was able to achieve those crazy gas mileage numbers, getting up to 41 miles to the gallon without having to do anything. I was just sort of driving normally. Now, there is a catch there. I kept this thing in eco mode pretty much all week because honestly, there was no reason not to. Like this thing, there's that stupid speed
I
camera
know.
warning. Every Hyundai does that. I'm sure there's a way to turn that off.
I don't mind the warning. It just is very aggressive.
Well, it's annoying
There's
because
just so much.
it's a school zone and school's not in session.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday afternoon. So I put it in eco mode because this thing has a sport mode and a normal mode, and to me it's utterly pointless. Like I feel like this eco mode does a nice job of being livable. Like some eco modes that like numbs the throttle and it makes it really annoying to drive. This one is totally fine. You didn't even notice. Like
No.
you didn't even notice that it was in eco mode, and I was
Which
able
I
to,
usually do notice.
right.
So.
And I don't know if it prompts it to switch to EV mode more often. Maybe it does, but I actually wanted it to do that because it made sense for my commute. So I think there's a lot of positives here. I did mention earlier that I noticed the transmission when you're coming away from a stop at sort of slower speeds. It's a 6-speed automatic. Every once in a while, I felt like it shifted a little roughly, or not even roughly, just more unsure of itself, like it wasn't sure what gear to be in. And that's why I think sometimes CVTs just kind of work better for this application. But
There she goes
I
again.
know, because it's like literally we're at a corner
Yeah.
where there's a school in a corner, and she's like, by the way, there's speed cameras on both corners. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. And so I think a CVT just works better in that shuttling power all over the place. That's where Toyota, man, their experience at using the CVT to shuttle power, especially in their all-wheel drive systems, so seamlessly, it's really impressive. This thing isn't quite that good, but you didn't even notice. So is it good enough for everyone who's not a crazy car
Yes.
enthusiast? Yeah, probably so. And I think that's where Hyundai is just so smart with the way that they make their vehicles. I don't know, and I've been to a couple of their events, I don't know if there's more of a customer focused company where they really want to know what you want out of a vehicle, and they're going to try to not just deliver, they're going to try to over deliver. So in their limited trim, they give you all of the luxury and style to make you feel more special than they are. I mean, what is it? The Palisade calligraphy trim?
Yeah,
and they've got
I
like the
that.
quilted leather seats and all this kind of stuff. It's like they really want to make you feel good about your vehicle purchase. And I appreciate that. I think that's an admirable
Well, I told you,
quality.
I feel like in the driver's seat when you're driving, you can tell like everything, I am very comfortable.
Right.
Everything from where I'm sitting looks great, feels great, and is very user friendly.
Yes, all your touch
Yes.
points and everything. That's a great like attention to detail. You're absolutely right.
Like I told, I felt like my little cockpit was just
yeah.
like just super nice.
Everything you touch feels special, and it makes you feel special.
Yeah.
And Hyundai might do that better than everyone, and I admire them for that. And another, to your point about the functionality, while the touch, controls on the screen are not the best, like I don't think when you're driving you really want to be kind of messing around trying to put your finger in the right place for a volume.
But there's nothing up there that you have to have.
No, you have it on the steering
Yeah.
wheel. And what I was about to say is that because this is running the older system, Hyundai's in the right now they're phasing in their newer stuff. Because this is running the older system, their menu system, their adaptive cruise control, all the stuff is extremely simple and intuitive. And they give you the feature of using your phone as a key, and they're giving you even more features in their updated infotainment. So from behind the wheel, if you're an enthusiast like me, this isn't going to be, it's not going to light you on fire. Like, it's not a Mazda CX-5 where they're trying to give you that special driving experience. However, my commute doesn't require a Mazda CX-5. It requires a nice, comfy, feature-filled hybrid. And so this is giving me more of what I need, even if it's not always what I want.
Okay, so in the interior, this is my favorite part about this car.
Because the exterior styling is...
I mean, because the exterior styling is lacking.
Yes.
And I like the way the interior looks. I love how this is kind of high up. This is kind of weird for, this is maybe just a me thing, but I feel like I'm in a little cockpit. This is kind of a useless little space here. I don't really get that. I wish it was...
it doesn't have an under...
Yeah, I wish this was open all the way through so I could
Yeah.
put my purse down there, but that's kind of a useless little ant. I either want an open floor plan or to feel like I'm in a cockpit. And I feel like I'm in a
see that.
cockpit. I love the wheel.
Yeah, you like Hyundai's
Yeah,
wheel.
yeah. I love the open thing. These things are kind of weird, but also kind of fun. Like, you can kind of, I don't know, it's kind of strange. But as long as this is open and the leather is smooth, I'm good. I like the button little pushy dials things here.
Yep.
The parking camera is right here, which I wish it was closer to the driver's side. I don't love when it's over there kind of close to the passenger.
You always say that.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of weird. Like,
Hyundai does that.
My passenger doesn't need to use the parking camera. I do.
Maybe they do.
I think the screen, I like this.
Yeah, it's like a 10.3
yeah,
inch
I
screen.
like the way this
and
whole
gauge
thing
cluster.
looks.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing looks cool.
Could use
Here's
a
the
volume
charging
knob,
pad.
though.
It doesn't bother me. How do you turn it up though?
The little buttons.
Oh,
it's got
I
like
see.
little haptic
I see.
buttons.
I see. The gauge cluster is very just like...
Yeah, it still looks good. It's kind of old
It
at
looks
this
good,
point.
but it's kind of just
Yeah.
average and nothing exciting. But again, I don't need it to be exciting. It does what I want it to do, and I love it. It has a closed little thing here. Look, there's an AirPod in there.
handle. Yeah, with an AirPod inside. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
but that's what I want to be able to do is put my things in there.
Yeah.
I need a pocket. I've got the cup holders. It fits the stand. We've got a little thing here. You have a cup holder down there. I've got another cup holder. Well, it's one of those is it a cup holder?
yeah,
Is it
it's
not?
not a great one.
It's not a great one. But these two are fine. And then we can go check the back seat out. But the seat is very comfortable. I love the two-tone look. I think it looks nice.
Yeah,
and
the
I like
two-tone-
this fabric or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
Looks way more expensive than it is.
Yeah. And I just love these seats. I think they're very comfortable.
Oh man, when they redesigned
Yeah.
the Tucson, maybe I'll have to put
They
that
better
on your
have
list.
comfy seats. I like it.
backseat.
I like it. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so I'm in the back seat, and this is motored back, like when you
Which is an
start and stop
impressive
the
feature
car.
at this price.
But even with it motored back, I still have plenty of space. Now I would want the person to move up a little bit, but I do have space. It is comfortable back here. Now I did actually ride back here, and it's a decent cup holder down there. We've got some cup holders here in the middle. Now I rode back here,
Yeah,
so
the girls,
not
the whole
super
family.
far, but the whole family was here, and
Yeah.
I usually ride in the back because I'm the shortest one in the family. So
But how tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
But I rode in the back, and it was fine. But you know what I do not like back here?
What?
The lack of vents. Now, there are 2 small vents here in the middle, but I could not feel them at all.
Well, that's normal in this class, but those vents kind of suck.
I could feel them very little, and I was very hot back here.
Yeah.
And today, when I was up front, the air works great. Like, I felt nice and cool up there, so I don't understand why we can't get some better venting back here.
It was weird because we turned it all the way up
Yeah,
and they were
because
like,
this isn't a huge car, but I was
Yeah.
hot.
they were like coughing out air.
Yeah, I was hot and I was not comfortable, so I did not like that. So that is a negative to the interior of the car, I guess. At least for the back seat people. But this is
space-wise,
comfy.
Pretty good.
Space-wise, it's good. And this is comfy. And to have this much space and that much cargo space,
Yeah.
it's impressive.
Yeah, with the rear seat there, and you have,
And you still have all that.
yeah, with almost 40 cubic feet.
Yeah, very impressive. Good job, Hyundai.
Okay, so my role here in the interior, especially if you're new to the channel, is to be an incredibly tall guy as an example, and then also talk about the technology, because you always talk about the design and materials.
I talk about what people care about.
Yeah, you talk about what people care
You talk
about.
about
I
the
talk
boring
about the
stuff.
boring stuff and show you what a huge
The
person
boring
looks
stuff
like.
for tall people.
Yeah, so I am almost 6'6", about 6'5.5". I have plenty of headroom, and this has the panoramic sunroof, which is really nice. Also, quite a large panoramic sunroof. The seat is actually motors back when you get out because this has the memory seats. So this is more legroom than I need. So I actually don't need this much legroom. So I have plenty of space as a 6'6" person. The 10-inch infotainment and gauge cluster, they are Hyundai's. Well, let me just put it this way: Hyundai kind of made a big leap forward. Hyundai. But Hyundai made a big leap forward with their infotainment and digital gauge clusters a few years back. Now they're getting on in age. They still look good. I mean, the driver gauge cluster still
They
looks
look
nice,
great, yeah.
and the infotainment still looks nice. And this is where they introduced some of their phone as a key system and stuff like that. The next generation of Hyundai and Kia vehicles are taking that even a step further, like the new Santa Fe. Like, you can control everything from your phone, which is pretty fantastic. The downside of this one, because it's the old system had an Achilles heel. It had one thing that it couldn't do that everybody complained about, even with all the features: no wireless CarPlay. Weirdly, the lower tier system had wireless CarPlay, but the upper tier system in the highest trims has wired
this one?
CarPlay. So yeah, you have to have wired CarPlay.
that's annoying.
Now, I don't think either of us think that's a deal breaker.
No,
I
but
mean,
it's
it wouldn't.
annoying.
Yeah, it's just annoying. It wouldn't stop me from
You would
getting
just
this
keep a cord in
vehicle.
your car. But
Yeah, but other than that, I don't love the touch, like the capacitive touch everything. But it's very functional. It's very labeled. It's very easy to live with. You got all your most used stuff right here: your heated, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, and
except
all
your
that.
Parking camera.
And your parking camera far away. But I mean, other than that, it's a very nice looking place to be. The tech works well, and the space, you can't complain.
Do you like
now,
the buttons for the gear?
I don't mind this. I will say, okay, and this is, again, on the enthusiast side of the channel, I like to drive a stick, like as a sports car. So for day-to-day driving, I don't pretty much care how an automatic transmission goes into gear. I know some brands like Mercedes and GM, like with Chevy and stuff, have been experimenting with putting the gear levers back on the stalk or back on the column with a stalk or something like that. To me, that sort of makes sense because it frees up all the space here in the center console. Other than that, I'd probably just prefer a traditional, lever. But like, that's coming from an enthusiast. One last little complaint, minor complaint. I am a large individual. I weigh about 230, 235 pounds. We just had a Nissan Ariya and the Subaru Forester recently, which have some of the best seats like in this class of vehicle, especially the Forester. This seat's fine. This is totally fine. I do think the seat bottom cushion is a little flat and not quite as supportive if you are a larger person. Now, I'm willing to bet you didn't notice this at all because you're 5'9" and a normal human. I'm a very large person, and after spending like an hour commute, I felt like the seat cushion was just a little bit flat. But I'm just saying that in case you're a large person and you're interested in this vehicle. But other than that, this is a nice looking, very comfy, and still very feature rich interior for $41,000. Yeah, so this is me in the back seat. We actually started the car, so the seat is where both of us would have it because you have really long legs and like to drive like with your legs out. So can I fit behind myself? Yes, I can fit behind myself.
Not very comfortable.
But yeah, this is where I would
That is
say
not comfortable.
the CR-V probably has the best back seat in this class, where you've got the most space and the biggest back seat and the most cargo space. This is probably slightly worse than the RAV4, to be honest with you, because we have a RAV4. I would say this is around where the Subaru Forester was, really.
Yeah.
I think, you know, for me in the back seat. So that's not bad because I am huge. I'm almost 6.5 feet tall, so like that's not normal, right? Headroom is actually okay. I can sit up straight. My hair touches like the headliner, but my head isn't hitting it. So headroom isn't that bad, even though this thing doesn't look super boxy. Legroom is just okay. And then down here,
The terrible vents.
oh, you know why?
Why?
They were closed.
Oh.
The things were pushed all the way down.
All right. Well, Hyundai, I
Womp
take it back.
womp.
Womp.
Glad we found that in the video.
Me too, I didn't even notice.
Okay, so if you've already watched Megan's complaining about the rear seat vents, the rear vents are fine. Big day in American democracy.
Oh my God. Can you stop? Oh my God. I just said I'm tired.
All right, so summing up the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. This is a pretty great small to midsize SUV. Now, my advice is, as this market is kind of crashing and burning, interest rates are super high. I think dealers are having a difficult time moving inventory, especially dealers that were trying to gouge people with big markups and have a bad reputation. So what I would do is I would look at the value play that this provides. This is a lot of vehicle for your $41,000 with great gas mileage, a ton of features, and they're not super hard to find. If you sort of went down to the SEL model, which is Hyundai's kind of mid-level trim, you might give up a couple options, but you're still gonna get a lot of good ones, okay? So whether you're looking at a gas-powered Hyundai Tucson, a hybrid Hyundai Tucson, or the PHEV Hyundai Tucson, if you can stomach the exterior styling, which like some people can't, I really
it's
am
not disgusting.
I just really don't like the way that
Right.
this thing looks. Like, and I know we're
I
in
just think
agreement
it's
about
boring.
that, but I just, for me,
You think it's gross and offensive.
Yeah,
I just think
for
it's
me,
boring.
it's a near deal breaker, especially because this class of vehicle, while they all look reasonably the same, they're all actually like not bad looking. You know what I mean? Like the CR-V, the RAV4, the Forester now, like they all look pretty decent. This one now is kind of the odd one out. Now, Hyundai, if you give this one the super boxy styling that
Then it's
Megan
gonna look
likes,
good.
I think that the Santa Fe, and I know people are very polarized on the Santa Fe, I actually think it's kind of cool.
I think it
like
looks cool.
I actually think the Santa Fe is
I
kind of
would
cool.
love to test one of those.
Go check out. I did a first drive with
Yeah,
my
but I
buddy
didn't.
Hanson from Shifting Lanes. So you can go check out that. We did an on-road and off-road drive of the Santa Fe, and we've also done the Palisade, which is one of your all-time
I do like
favorites.
that
You
one.
really like the Palisade, and if the Palisade goes boxy
That'll
and the
be cool.
Tucson goes boxy, I mean,
Maybe we'll get
it
one.
gives Hyundai that sort of different look that I think people like. Also, one last thing that I'll say is that Hyundai's gotten a bit of flack on their DSG, their dual clutch gearboxes, having some reliability issues. Now, personally, I think it's a bit overblown.
DCG?
But DSG, but like it's
why is-
some people call them DCT, some people call them DSGs, some people call them the
Okay. You
BFG.
said
I'm
clutch,
just
so I
kidding.
thought
That's
there should be
a
a
book.
C in there.
It's a dual clutch
Okay.
gearbox. Hyundai's had a few reliability issues with the Santa Fe. Nothing major, like I said, overblown. The fact that this thing has a traditional 6-speed automatic and a regular naturally aspirated 1.6 liter 4-cylinder combined with the hybrid powertrain, I think some purists might find some comfort in that. That's an extremely kind of reliable,
I
proven
don't understand
powertrain.
what that sentence meant.
Well, I'm just saying that if you want something that you feel a little bit comforted by the reliability, also Hyundai's excellent warranty, powertrain warranty, and battery warranty, that starts to make this thing a very
Good
compelling option. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. Our tall family fits in this incredibly well. It's feature packed and a decent price. So I'll turn it over to you to take us away. Oh, don't forget, there's a little bit of misinformation in there. The rear seat vents, they're fine.
They do work.
All right, so my overall thoughts on the Hyundai Tucson
Hybrid.
Hybrid. The exterior, I'm gonna go like a 5.
Oh.
I mean 5 as in very average. Nothing memorable about it,
Memorable.
but nothing I hate about it. So just right there in the middle. The exterior would never make me want to buy this car or not buy this car. It's just like, there it is. The interior, 8. I really like it. I really like it. There's a few things that there's some like kind of useless little space and not a great cup holder on the door and that kind of stuff, but nothing big. There's a few things,
Minor
but
bummers.
I'm gonna go an 8. Driving wise, I'm gonna go a 9.
Okay.
I loved it. It was very comfortable. I love the brake and the gas. I mean, the minute I got in, they were perfect. There was no calibration period. So I loved it.
What about value?
How much does this cost?
Just over $40,000, probably about 41.
Okay, that's a bit much.
It's a loaded hybrid.
That feels a bit much to me. But I think it's a good car. It's probably worth it, right? Hyundais are reliable, yes?
What do you think about this? This is the
What?
same price as the Subaru Forester we took to the beach.
I like this better, I think.
Oh, because you gave the Forester higher ratings.
Well,
Because you like the way it drove so much.
I did.
You really like the Forester.
But I also like the way this one drives.
Yeah.
So,
And this one's a little more spacious.
yeah. I don't know. They'd be close. They'd be close to each other.
You like the way the Forester looks a lot more.
Yeah. I don't like the way this
Yeah.
one looks, really. So I guess overall, I'll give it like a 7.
Okay.
Maybe a 7.5. In that
Okay.
range. Not bad, not great.
I mean, I'm just saying
But
you're
there are
dropping
things
9s
that-
and 10s on the Forester.
There are things that I loved about it. And see, you make me do this on the spot. I hate when you do this. Go watch the Forester video and see what I said about it. But I can't remember. I'm just giving you my real-time thoughts on this car. There you have it. I do think it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a car in this category. I liked it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, ring the bell.
And don't forget to subscribe to Wolf Pen.
Oh, yeah. He'll tell you that too, right, though? Wolf Pen.
I already did.
Wolf, P-E-N. Go subscribe.
Wolf P-E-N.
Yeah, Wolf Pen. Well, because you're like pen. Which one is it? I didn't know
Oh,
at first. So
Pen.
Wolf Pen. Go
Yeah,
subscribe.
There you go. Good job.
Thanks for watching.